NBA, from short-term contract to Bulls Dominator. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 31. The person who comes to mind for the first time. Only her, Shauna, American Dragonborn. Currently studying at the University of Chicago, full name is the University of Chicago, is one of the most influential universities in the United States. Shauna, like Qin Yang, was born in Chicago. The difference is that the economic strength of the two families, one in the sky and the other underground. Shauna's father was a stockbroker. Chicago is the financial center of the United States, second only to Los Angeles and New York. Under such a circumstance, the Shao family can be said to have no worries about food and clothing in Chicago, and even a faint middle-class trend. On the other hand, the Qin family is poor and white. Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru were smuggled to Chicago that year, and they are still not eligible to become American nationals. When Qin Yang was a child, he knew Shauna. At that time, the Shao family was not as good as it is now. Like most Dragonborns, living in the slums of Chicago and, better, moving to Chinatown. At that time, the Shao family lived in Chinatown, and Qin Yang and his father Qin Jingshan often went to Chinatown to hang out. Came and went, got to know the Shao family. It was also during that period that Qin Yang, who was in his teens, met Shauna. Shauna is very beautiful, tall, elegant temperament, delicate and deep facial features, faintly a bit of mixed race. Although Qin Yang was just over 10 years old at that time, he had an inexplicable favorable impression of Shauna. She is also a particularly smart girl, with excellent academic performance, and she will make up lessons for Qin Yang when she has nothing to do. Qin Yang's grades were quite poor when he was studying, and Shauna helped him a lot. Later, the two gradually grew up. Qin Yang grew taller and went to Loyola University in Chicago, a basketball academy. At Loyola University, Qin Yang did not achieve any outstanding results, and could only be said to be ordinary. If not, it would not have been reduced to a development alliance. Students who scored at Loyola University have long passed the draft and landed in the NBA early. Shauna, on the other hand, with her excellent grades, also got a scholarship and was admitted to the famous American school, the University of Chicago. This institution, founded in 1890, was founded by American oil tycoon John Rockefeller. None of those who can pass excellent grades and enter the University of Chicago are good. Shauna was admitted to the exam, which proved that her future would be immeasurable. Of course, it was also after Shauna was admitted to the University of Chicago that her contact with Qin Yang became less and less. Several times Qin Yang went to find her, but she was closed. People will always grow up. When I was a child, there were not so many flowers and intestines. Shauna was willing to help Qin Yang, and she felt that this tall man was quite cute. And as she gets older, women become more realistic. The Qin family wants nothing, and the family is so poor that they jingle. Originally expected Qin Yang to play hard and land in the NBA through the draft. However, she took it for granted that Qin Yang's basketball skills were simply not enough to enter the NBA. Entering the development league is considered lucky. Playing in the development league, how many can there be? Anyone who knows the development league knows that it is the NBA's scraps league. The top players in it will not earn more than $200,000 a year. Such a future made Shauna have no hope for Qin Yang. In fact, she knew that over the years, Qin Yang had a good impression of her. And before she was admitted to the University of Chicago, she felt good about Qin Yang. Only later, she thought that Qin Yang was not her thing. An athlete who plays for a living can only stay in the development league and wait for death. Think about yourself, about to go to the University of Chicago. The future and Qin Yang are completely the lives of two worlds. There will be no intersection and no appearance in the same framework. So Shauna very sensibly broke off contact with Qin Yang. Just an ordinary friend when she was young, she didn't pay attention to Qin Yang, and she didn't feel guilty. Qin Yang loves to be in a daze, which does not mean that he is stupid. Several times I went to Chinatown to look for Shauna, but Shauna did not see him, and even if she saw him, she avoided him far away. Over time, Qin Yang understood what was going on. People dislike themselves, dislike their lack of ability, dislike their poor family situation, and dislike that they are not worthy of her. Then forget it. This year, three-legged toads are hard to find, and two-legged beautiful women are all over the street. He also began to stop looking for Shauna, and the two went their own way, and so on for the past few years. In fact, Qin Yang is not emerging in the NBA. I believe that in this life, Shauna will not get in touch with him. This set of numbers looked strange, and after carefully looking at it a few times, Qin Yang immediately recognized that this was Shauna's private mobile phone number. The scene of the two making telephone porridge back then is still vividly remembered, as if it happened yesterday. Phew. The various memories of the predecessor made Qin Yang's heart heavy, and he couldn't help but let out a sulk. This kind of woman, to be honest, is not everywhere. When she was down, she chose to avoid it. The scenery is beautiful, and I take the initiative to contact myself. What's the point of dating this kind of woman? There is a saying that is very good: you do not accompany the sunset West Mountain, but who are you when the East Mountain rises again? Anyway, Qin Yang felt that there was no need to reply to Shauna. He deleted the text message, took off his shoes and lay on the bed. However, after a while, the phone rang. It was still that set of numbers deeply engraved in Qin Yang's memory. Shauna, she didn't see Qin Yang reply to the text message, and directly threw a phone call over. In the quiet cabin, mobile phone ringtones echo. Qin Yang sat up straight, picked up his mobile phone, pondered for a long time, and finally chose to answer. Episode 32. Why don't you reply to my messages? I know you haven't slept yet, just finished the game, right? In the mobile phone receiver, Xiao Na's familiar and unfamiliar voice came out. I haven't contacted Xiao Na for almost 3 years. Since she was admitted to the University of Chicago, the two have broken contact. 17 or 8 years old, the age of ignorance, is the yearning for love between men and women. Xiao Na, on the other hand, chose to avoid Qin Yang after being admitted to the University of Chicago and meeting more outstanding boys. Qin Yang has not been in contact with other girls since then, and he is dedicated to playing ball and making a living. But even so, he was abandoned by the development league and reduced to the embarrassing situation of having no ball to play. At this moment, Xiao Na's voice sounded in his ears. Qin Yang paused and spoke. Yes, I didn't sleep. Are you looking for me tonight? To Qin Yang's surprise, Xiao Na still kept his number. It should have been deleted by her long ago. Now that she knows that she has made some fame in the NBA, in which corner did she turn out her mobile phone number? This woman, in order to contact him, is estimated to have consumed a lot of brain cells. Indeed, I saw the rising China Qin in newspapers, Twitter forums, and television. Xiao Na was very surprised. She hadn't thought that the China Qin who had caused a whirlwind in the alliance would be Qin Yang. It was her father Xiao Shilin who called her. Tell her that the tall man who often came to our house back then has already entered the NBA. Xiao Na was stunned and asked her father Xiao Shilin, which one is tall? Xiao Shilin said frankly that he was the tall man of the Qin family. Xiao Na suddenly remembered that when she was a child, she was small with a big tall man. His name is Qin Yang, and he often gives Degao a makeup lesson, and Degao will buy some snacks for her to eat. After knowing each other for a long time, I also took her out to play. The duo's footprints have spread all over basketball courts, parks, libraries, amusement parks, etc. The memory buried in her heart was awakened. Xiao Na ended the call with her father and searched for everything about China Qin on the internet. Looking at it, she was shocked. This is exactly Qin Yang. Her hair used to be small, and now he has changed into an NBA player, joined the Bulls for a short time, and played phenomenal performance. There are also industry insiders on the internet who assert that the Bull management will renew Qin Yang at any time and carefully prepare a large contract for Qin Yang. The overwhelming sports news is full of reports about China Qin. Xiao Na was immediately dumbfounded and stunned. She couldn't have imagined it. The tall person who often played with her and laughed a little humbly will transform into a state that impresses her and even becomes popular in the United States after a few years. She hurriedly rummaged around and finally found a trace of Qin Yang on a social software. It was in this social software that she chatted with Qin Yang back then, and there were messages that Qin Yang gave her. Is a set of numbers. Xiao Na immediately guessed that this set of numbers was Qin Yang's phone. She didn't know if Qin Yang had changed his number over the years, so she sent a text message to try it first. As a result, Qin Yang didn't pay attention to her. She simply didn't do anything and dialed through. Hearing Qin Yang's increasingly thick and deep voice, she knew that this was Qin Yang, and Qin Yang had not changed the number. Suddenly, Xiao Na's heartbeat began to accelerate. At that time, she was admitted to the University of Chicago and considered herself a victory. In the future, she and Qin Yang will be completely people from two worlds. So she chose to disconnect with Qin Yang, because she felt that Qin Yang had always been so virtuous that she was not worthy of her. I didn't expect that it had only been a few years, and Qin Yang would become the hot China Qin in the United States. Qin Yang, do you have time tomorrow? Let's meet. I haven't been in touch for a long time. I want to know how you're doing now. Xiao Na hesitated for a moment and said what she wanted to say the most. She wanted to see Qin Yang and learn about Qin Yang's latest situation. I thought that Qin Yang would agree. After all, back then, Qin Yang was very enthusiastic about her. The girl's sixth sense told her that Qin Yang liked herself. It's just that this layer of window paper, everyone has not broken it. Now that he takes the initiative to come back to him, he will definitely not refuse, right? This is Shauna's wishful thinking. In her heart, she thought that Qin Yang was the tall, thin and tall man who smiled a little kindly. However, her pride did not last for a few seconds, and Qin Yang refused. Forget it. What you want to say, just say it on the phone. I don't have much time. I have to go to the team training tomorrow. Xiao Na. She was immediately speechless, and the scene was embarrassing for a while. So, yes, I'm not available. So what do you want to say? Hurry up and say on the phone. After saying that I'm going to sleep, it's quite tired. Qin Yang's tone was impatient, and Xiao Na could feel it. Well, then I won't bother you. Xiao Na just pretended it, and tried to continue, but found that the phone had been hung up by Qin Yang. Her heart was panicked, and now Qin Yang's cold attitude towards her was almost like two compared to back then. She sent another text message to Qin Yang. I heard that you are about to sign a big contract with the Bulls, is it true? Qin Yang, who had already hung up the phone, received a text message from Xiao Na for the second time, and he was not in the mood to pay attention to it. This woman, sure enough, he was asking if he had signed a big contract with the Bulls. Whether to sign or not, it seems that it has nothing to do with her. Why be so powerful? It's annoying. Qin Yang deleted the text message, did not pay attention to Xiao Na at all, and covered his head and slept until dawn. Episode 33. Following. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Qin Yang received a strange call. The other party claimed to be a brokerage company, and the person in charge introduced himself and said that it was Rich Paul. Qin Yang's brows furrowed. He didn't contact the brokerage company. Why did the personnel of the brokerage company take the initiative to find him? And the name Richie Paul, he always felt a little familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere. Hi. Qin, are you listening? Richie Paul's magnetic voice came again. Qin Yang replied, Mr. Paul, I'm listening. Are you a brokerage company? Which brokerage company? Hehe, Qin. You may not know which brokerage company I say, but if I name a name, you must be familiar with it. Oh? Who is it? Qin Yang was intrigued by Richie Paul's words. LeBron James, you must be familiar with it, right? Rich Paul said with a smile. At present, our agent team is doing public relations for LeBron, and we help LeBron settle all matters in the NBA, including the terms of player contracts and player salaries. Oh, so that's the case. I just said your name. Where do I seem to have heard it? It turns out that the brokerage team hired by LeBron is you. Qin Yang finally remembered. While playing in the development league, he heard the name Rich Paul. The person in charge of James's agency is none other than this Rich Paul, who called Qin Yang. How did he get his mobile phone number? Qin Yang thought about it and was immediately relieved. Being an agent team is no different from a paparazzi. The sense of smell is particularly keen, and once a player makes a name for himself in the NBA, they will definitely charge the front line and connect with the person. After all, their income is tied to NBA players. For example, Qin Yang earns $10 million a year, and the brokerage company will take 3% to 5% of the remuneration. This is a very considerable income. Of course, they collect the money and do their best to host the money. Any subsequent matters do not need to trouble the player himself. The brokerage team will directly link up with the team management to negotiate the collective bargaining agreement. The spokesperson for James's agency is indeed this guy named Rich Paul. Playing in the development league, he listened to small talk from his teammates and mentioned this person. The one who can act as an agent for James is certainly not a good stubble. Outstanding in business, and after signing with the team, Rich Paul will be responsible for him in all aspects. At this moment, Rich Paul said again, Qin, do you have time now? We can come out and talk about it in detail and tell you the inside story. At the moment, many teams in the league are very interested in you and are ready to throw you an olive branch. So this signing, you have multiple options. Even if you don't leave the Chicago Bulls, I have a way to get the Bulls management to give you a satisfactory big contract. Rich Bo has many years of experience in this business. He is very mature in his negotiation skills. With his help, let Qin Yang sign the ideal big contract. Qin Yang thought for a while and agreed, yes, Mr. Paul, you say an address, I'll go over to find you. Okay. Rich Paul was overjoyed. He had a hunch that in the future, in addition to LeBron, Qin Yang would be his second cash cow. Qin, you come to the Blue Bottle Cafe in Tower, I'll wait for you there. Okay, Qin Yang bowed his head slightly. The two sides hung up the phone, and Qin Yang set off for the Blue Bottle Cafe in Tower. This cafe is located in downtown Chicago. It is surrounded by bustling streets, with high-rise buildings one after another. Qin Yang, who grew up in Chicago, is still familiar with the city. When he arrived at the Blue Bottle Cafe, it immediately caused a riot around him. Before Qin Yang went out, no one paid attention. He is also a little taller, and occasionally attracts a few old ladies to talk to him. Ask him if he is a basketball player and how he grew so tall. Qin Yang would respond politely every time. He played basketball, but he played the development league, and no one knew him. The old lady and old man will also pat him on the back and tell him to work hard and strive to enter the NBA as soon as possible. And now, Qin Yang went out, 208 centimeters tall, with long purple hair. This look is walking on the road, and it is difficult not to attract the attention of others. At present, the alliance's hot China Qin is this look. Omega. Look, isn't that China Qin? Our Chicago hero, China Qin. There was an exclamation from the crowd, and on the streets and alleys, countless people flocked to Qin Yang. Hey! China Qin, we have seen you, and we have seen you play. You are so powerful, you guy, you are simply a basketball genius. We in Chicago with you, with Derrick, this season's champion, certainly belong to this great city. When you say anything to me in the crowd, that's called a passion. There were also a few black and white girls, shouting to take photos with Qin Yang. Qin Yang stood in place like a wooden peg, and he himself was stunned. I didn't expect that I would be so famous in Chicago. Come to the city center and be watched. China Qin, you must bring a championship to this city. If you bring a championship to the city, we'll raise money to erect a statue for you and make your name like Michael Jordan forever remembered. Good guys, this trick is coming. Qin Yang smiled slightly and did not speak. Erection of statues? I don't dare to think about it yet. Hey! Qin, let you wait for a long time, I just came over. A voice came from behind. Qin Yang turned his head and looked at a black man. He is about 180 centimeters tall, wearing a white suit, a pair of white leather shoes, and a pair of black-framed glasses on the bridge of his nose. Dressed up in a very public relations style, presumably he is James's team leader, Rich Paul. Hello, are you Mr. Paul? Qin Yang asked aloud. Yes Qin, I am Paul, we will talk inside. I have already booked a position. Rich Paul dispersed the crowd and made a gesture of invitation to let Qin Yang enter the Blue Bottle Cafe. The two entered and sat down by the window. Rich Paul was very professional, took out a wad of papers, put it on the table, and then got straight to the point. Qin. The good news is that the Los Angeles Lakers are interested in you. They especially want to recruit you into the team, and the offer they make will satisfy you. This is what my colleagues in Los Angeles told me. It is reported that Kobe intends to woo you to join, and also found Kupchak and Miss Jenny specifically for this. The offer they gave you was, sign a 2-year contract, $40 million. They can only free up so much salary space, and they still need to trade a bunch of players to get you. I wonder what you think. After Richie Paul finished speaking, he stared straight at Qin Yang. In Richie Paul's opinion, Qin Yang should go to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a city of angels, with great exposure and a world-famous Hollywood. The Lakers are a strong team. As long as Qin Yang is willing to join, this season's championship will definitely belong to the Lakers. Episode 34. $4 million in 2 years? The Lakers sincerely invite themselves to join? Kobe Bryant is recruiting him? After listening to Richie Paul's words, Qin Yang was stunned for a while. He didn't expect that the Lakers valued him so much. It's really rare. I was worried about a short-term job the other day, and now the Los Angeles Lakers have paid $40 million to sign me? I can't believe it. Qin Yang was like a dream, and he always felt a little unreal. The man who got the system did blow up the sky. A week went on, and many teams threw olive branches at him. The famous NBA Giants Lakers made such a big sacrifice in order to get him. Rich Paul laughed. I heard this inside information at the time, and I thought it was incredible. It is not like the style of the Bath family. The Bath family, the veteran capitalists of California, their company is smarter than any chaebol, and they will not do such a seemingly reckless thing. Then I figured it out. You're worth the price. Rich Paul had a serious look. Qin Yang showed a puzzled look. How to talk about it specifically? First of all, Qin, you have that strength. On the first day you landed in the NBA, you followed the example of that guy from Shaq and smashed the rebound. And then in last night's game, I killed the Lakers' arch-rival Celtics. Of course it's not the most important thing. To be honest, no matter how good you are, you've only played 2 games. So many teams are willing to recruit you. Or do you see the commercial value behind you? Can you understand when I say this? Rich Paul pushed the black-framed glasses, giving it a sense of wisdom and savvy. Qin Yang thought for a moment and understood. You mean, they value the Dragon Kingdom market behind me more? Like Yao Ming? Yes, Rich Paul nodded without hesitation. The fact is that Yao is an alternative in the NBA. He has driven overseas ratings, overseas jersey sales. If Jordan is the key to opening the alliance to the world, then Yao's appearance is that keychain. It was Yao who landed in the NBA, let your dragon country, hundreds of millions of fans, madly fall in love with the NBA, so that the league's ratings were guaranteed, and even increased many points. In addition, it is the influence, allowing the NBA to completely affect the fans of the dragon country, thereby continuing to drive the commercial value behind it. So it is. Through Richie Paul's analysis, Qin Yang thought it was reasonable. No matter how good he has only played 2 games. The strength is indeed there, but it is not as valuable as expected. Ordinary players, playing 2 phenomenal performances, the teams reacted flatly, and there would be no big difference. And if it was a Dragon Kingdom player, the situation was completely different. Rockets boss Leslie Alexander, counting on Yao Ming all these years, how much money income has it brought him? It is estimated that hundreds of millions of dollars are definitely available. I have to say that Leslie Alexander is a very smart boss. A large part of the reason he chose Yao Ming in the first place was to value the commercial value behind Yao. And in fact, he was not wrong to gamble. Since Yao Ming joined the Rockets, it has brought him huge profits. Now all teams are trying to replicate the success of the Rockets, signing Qin Yang, a Dragon Country explosive player, to fight for enough huge profits for themselves. Thinking about this, Qin Yang was not in a hurry. He looked at Rich Paul and asked, "Didn't you say that several teams are throwing olive branches at me? Besides the Lakers, what other teams are there?" "Oh Qin. Listen to you, it seems reluctant to join the Lakers? It's not the most important thing. The important thing is, I want to know, which teams are interested in me? Well, you look at these, all of which I collected based on the actual situation, and there are general offers from various teams to you." Rich Paul handed Qin Yang a document. Qin Yang read carefully. There are currently 6 teams that have thrown olive branches to him. Of course the Bulls don't count. He's still playing for the Bulls. Mavericks, Hawks, Hornets, Jazz, Knicks. In addition to the Lakers, these 5 teams especially want to get Qin Yang, and they are even negotiating with the Bulls management. How can I get China Qin? The management of the Bulls team naturally does not want to release people. Qin Yang is theirs, and no one can take it away. Have you finished reading it? Rich Paul found Qin Yang breathe a long sigh of relief and asked with a smile, "Mr. Paul, I'm done watching, but these teams, personally, don't really want to go over." Qin Yang said positively, "In this way, Mr. Paul, knowing that you are the head of Lebuling's brokerage, then your business ability, I will definitely not question. If you have time, help me negotiate with the Bull management. I grew up in this city and have a lot of affection for it, and I also welcomed my teammate. He is Derrick, and I will definitely thank you for allowing me to sign my dream big contract and stay in Chicago." Qin Yang showed his attitude. It's pretty good to team up with Ross. He liked Ross's character, non-contentious, and temperate. Going to other teams, he is not very familiar. And the trade to Los Angeles, the place is indeed good, the city of angels in the United States, sitting on the world-famous Hollywood. Celebrities from all walks of life can almost be found in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, though, he doesn't think he played well with the Bulls. The reason is simple, Kobe's personality is very different from Ross. If Ross is compared to a good baby, then Kobe is a prick in the head. Kobe's strong personality, as well as his paranoid competitive spirit, can put pressure on his teammates. He's not here to discredit Kobe, that's it. Kobe Bryant is paranoid, extremely competitive, and arrogant. Of course, his character is worthy of recognition. The spirit of Mamba directly affects 3 generations. Before crossing, the post-80s, post-90s, including the post-00s, all regarded Kobe as a life faith. His Mamba spirit has influenced young people all over the world, but it is precisely because Kobe is so good that he can't rub half a grain of sand in his eyes. To be honest, Kobe Bryant and Jordan are the same kind of people. Be cruel to others, be even more ruthless to yourself. It's okay to be friends with this kind of teammate. Qin Yang knows that he will be very uncomfortable. He still prefers the atmosphere of the Bulls, at least in the Bulls, and what he says, Ross and Ben Gordon and Noah will not refute it. It seems that you still listen to him? Over time, he was able to serve as team boss with the Bulls. This is Qin Yang's favorite atmosphere, so Los Angeles, he didn't plan to go. Let Rich Paul think of a way. Negotiate with Bulls management that as long as the Bulls are willing to offer the same price as the Lakers, he will stay in Chicago and not go anywhere. Episode 35. Rich Paul already knows the answer. Qin Yang did not want to leave Chicago and asked him to negotiate with the Bulls management. Oh. Well, I seem to understand what you mean. As a last resort, Qin, you still don't want to leave Chicago, right? Yes, Mr. Paul. Qin Yang did not hide it and nodded. Okay, who let you guys be my gold lords? It is my blessing to serve the gold lord, just like serving Lu Bulang. Rich Paul laughed. Qin, I have a hunch that if you continue to fight according to this trend, the future will definitely be yours, and Le Bulang will also give in due to the rise of your aura. Haha, thank you GN, I don't dare to think about this yet. Qin Yang shook his head and smiled. Supergiants such as Li Brang and Kobe have been playing in the league for many years, and they already have a deep fan base. And the two are all league facades. He played 2 phenomenal games, although he won some fans' applause, but it was not enough. The road is still long, and I can't tell who will be brilliant in the future. Rich Paul stood up and politely bid farewell to Qin Yang. Before leaving, he also stuffed Qin Yang with a business card, indicating that Qin Yang needed to contact him. Sending off Rich Paul, Qin Yang had nothing to do alone, drank coffee, and ate some desserts. Snacks and desserts are Qin Yang's favorites. However, Qin Yang's physique is very good, and eating dessert will not be blessed. Tasting the happiness brought by the dessert, Qin Yang left the Blue Bottle Cafe. Now wait for news from Rich Paul, negotiate well with Bulls management, and he can stay in Chicago and embark on the road to a championship with Ross. Meanwhile, Foreman's office, where Walker is located. The two were discussing how to negotiate when they met with Qin Yang. As general manager of the team, Foreman needs stability on both ends. The first is to save money for the owner, use the lowest cost, and create the maximum value for the team. The second is to stabilize Qin Yang and let Qin Yang stay with the Chicago Bulls no matter what, so that he can give an explanation to the boss Jerry Reinsdorf. If he couldn't keep Qin Yang, Foreman knew that he, the general manager of the team, should resign and leave class. Walker, have you called Qin? Foreman rubbed his chin with one hand and asked Walker. Dear Mr. Foreman, I haven't called yet. I'm thinking, what method should we use to completely retain China Qin? Call him first. We met to discuss in detail, and we can be adaptable. Yes, Mr. Foreman. Walker dialed Qin Yang's phone. When signing a short-term contract, he left Qin Yang's private number. Soon, the call was connected. Qin Yang was going to go home, but he received a call from Walker on the way. After inquiring, I learned that the Bulls management was very anxious and would negotiate with him to renew his contract today. Qin Yang thought about it and understood why Foreman was so anxious. Today, there are as many as 6 teams in the league that want him, especially the Los Angeles Lakers, in order to bring him in, are very sincere. Trade some players to free up salary space just to welcome him. Qin Yang estimated that in the list of players traded by the Lakers, Bynum would definitely not be able to stay. He went to the Lakers, that is, played a twin tower lineup with Gasol, and that was not the tactic he wanted. He prefers to be the first attacker in the tactical position by himself, so that it is fun to play. Go to the Lakers and become a blue-collar center. What's the point of grabbing rebounds and swiping blocks in one game? A soldier who doesn't want to be a cook is not a good general. Now that you've landed in the NBA, you have to go to the supergiant. Work until you're a superstar. All of this is a chance to happen with the Bulls. Thinking about his plans for the next step, Qin Yang drove to Foreman's office. Knock knock. Qin Yang knocked on the door, and Foreman's voice came from inside the room. Please come in. Manager Foreman, Mr. Walker, I heard you came to me to talk about renewing my contract? Qin Yang asked knowingly, and also intended to listen to what Foreman said. This damn old man, shrewder than a monkey, what if he deceives him? Hee, yes Qin, we are talking to you about renewing the contract. Foreman rubbed his hands, looking quite embarrassed. After all, Qin Yang came to sign a short-term contract a few days ago, and he didn't look at Qin Yang squarely. But now he had to lower his posture and beg Qin Yang to stay. To paraphrase an ancient saying in the Dragon Kingdom, when it is really 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Heshi, don't fool the young man into poverty. Qin, sit down, and then you say what you think. Our Bull management, how much price do you want to stay? Foreman warmly beckoned Qin Yang to sit down, but Qin Yang did not be polite with him and sat on the sofa on the side. Then he looked directly at Foreman, opened the skylight and said, Mr. Foreman, it's okay to let me stay in Chicago, but I need a contract that satisfies me. I don't know what you mean. Qin, I thought about it. First sign a 2-year contract with you, $15 million a year. What do you think? Fumin was testing Qin Yang's bottom line and gave Qin Yang $15 million a year. This contract price is $10 million less than the Lakers. Qin Yang's head is not stupid, and when he looks at Fumin's old bald donkey's mean expression, he knows that he is testing his bottom line. There is no sincerity at all. Standing up, Qin Yang turned his head and left, not even in the mood to reply. Qin. What are you doing? What is this for? Don't go, the trade is not benevolent and righteous, we haven't finished talking yet. As soon as he saw Qin Yang turn his head and leave, Fumin was suddenly anxious. Walker hurriedly dissuaded him. Qin. Don't be like this, the contract can be negotiated slowly. How much do you want? Qin Yang said, it's not a question of how much I want, but how much value I have in the current league market, and the price that the Los Angeles Lakers gave me is $40 million for 2 years. Oh, by the way, I already have an agent team, now let my agent come and talk to you. Qin Yang took out Richie Paul's business card from his pocket, and then dialed it. Episode 36. Rich Paul received a call from Qin Yang and rushed to the Bulls' office as quickly as possible. He didn't come alone, and he had a deputy by his side, a beautiful Latino woman. Entering the office, Rich Paul took the lead in introducing himself. In the league, Rich Paul is quite well known. As LeBron James' royal agent, he often appears in the league. Hey, Manager Foreman, from today onwards, I will be Qin's agent, and if there is anything in the future, you can talk to me about it. Okay. Fumin showed a wry smile, secretly said that Qin Yang made a quick move, and even the brokerage team was hired. And it's not the average brokerage team, the brokerage team of LeBron James. Rich Paul didn't talk nonsense with Foreman, opened his briefcase, flipped out a wad of documents, handed it to Foreman, and said, Mr. Foreman, before negotiating, I want you to take a look at these things first. This is the current league, 6 teams through olive branches to Qin. I believe you have also heard, right? The Lakers made the most sincere offer, $40 million for 2 years, and I had a meeting with Qin in the morning. What Qin means is that your Bull management can't give Qin the ideal contract he wants, so Qin can only jump ship and go to Los Angeles. As soon as he said this, Richie Paul hurriedly changed his words. That's not true. What is job hopping? Even if Qin Yang leaves Chicago, it cannot be said that he jumped ship, but changed teams normally. After all, Fumin looked down on people at first, did not take Qin Yang seriously, and only gave a 10-day short-term contract. After this contract expires, Qin Yang has the right to choose the new team he joins. Mr. Foreman, there was a slip of the tongue just now. Qin went to Los Angeles, and he couldn't be called job hopping, but changed teams normally. After all, at the beginning, you didn't grasp Qin, and only gave Qin a 10-day short-term contract. Foreman was stunned by Richie Paul and had nothing to say. As an agent, Richie Paul's lips are not comparable to Foreman's. This Qin means that if my side can't give the ideal contract, Qin will go to Los Angeles? Yes, Mr. Foreman. Richie Paul nodded. He deliberately used this method of agitation to force Foreman to submit, and then pinched him to death. Let the Bulls team owner know that China Qin is now very sought after. Your Bull management can't see Mount Tai. The frog at the bottom of the well doesn't recognize the goods, and there are a lot of teams in the league willing to sign Qin Yang at a high price. This tactic works, no matter what table it puts on it. Foreman knew that the Lakers did throw an olive branch to Qin Yang. As the general manager of Bull, he doesn't even have this inside information, so he can find a piece of tofu to kill him. The Lakers have a lot of money. The league's big teams, in terms of heritage and aura, the Bulls are not as good as the Lakers. Well, Qin means that the treatment given by our side cannot be lower than that of the Lakers, right? Foreman looked at Richie, Paul, and Qin Yang. Yes, Richie Paul nodded again. Okay, I know what to do. Foreman sighed. Originally, I wanted to defraud Qin Yang, $15 million a year, and take advantage of a little to sign Qin Yang. Where would have thought that Qin Yang contacted the agent team first and knew the Lakers' offer? Still heading to Los Angeles to play? How can this be? Qin Yang went to Los Angeles, teamed up with Kobe Bryant and Gasol, and was almost invincible in the league. In this way, Mr. Paul and Qin, we sign with Qin in good faith, but I need to ask Mr. Jerry's opinion first. For such a big contract, of course, you need to ask the Bulls owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. Yes, when will you send us news? Rich Paul said. You guys wait a minute, it'll be fine soon. Foreman walked over to his desk, picked up the landline, and dialed Jerry Reinsdorf's phone. Soon, the call was connected. Jerry Reinsdorf is also thinking about signing Qin Yang. He was considering, what price is right for Qin Yang? The offer from the Lakers side, Jerry Reinsdorf has already heard. 6 teams jointly threw an olive branch to Qin Yang. It's clear that these guys want to replicate the success of the Rockets' bosses. However, the Lakers disrupted the industry, which made Jerry Reinsdorf quite annoyed. A rookie player, the Lakers offered $40 million for 2 years. Fuck. The Base family, they simply don't treat beautiful knives as money. If you have money, you can't show off like this, right? Angry to indignant, Jerry Reinsdorf thought that Qin Yang was worth the price. Now signing Qin Yang with $40 million may lose money. And the follow-up is the big head. As long as Qin Yang can survive in the NBA and, like Yao Ming, enter the all-star level, then today's investment, looking back, can double the earnings. While thinking, Foreman called. After whispering a few words, Jerry Reinsdorf decided to take a gamble. Qin Yang can't let go. this is his cash cow. After a pause, Jerry Reinsdorf said, Qin means that our treatment cannot be lower than that of the Lakers, right? Yes, Honorable Mr. Jerry Foreman replied. Well, just renew Qin's contract. The Lakers offer 2 years and $40 million. We will give Qin 2 years and $40 million. How much salary space is left for the team? Is there any salary cap exceeded? Dear Mr. Jerry, the team's salary cap will not be exceeded, and even if it is, we can make a detour on Derrick's contract. Originally, I was going to sign a 5-year big contract with Derrick, and now there is another Qin. I think it can be like this, Derrick and Qin, all for 2 years. That way, the team's salary space can be freed up and it won't exceed the salary cap set by the league. Jerry Reinsdorf nodded. Okay, this matter is left to you. As long as you don't exceed the team's salary cap, meet Qin's requirements. This guy only belongs to our Chicago Bulls. No one can take it. Okay, I see, Mr. Jerry. Foreman hung up, then looked at Qin Yang and Rich Paul, and said with a smile, Congratulations to you, Qin. Mr. Jerry agreed. Just give you the Lakers offer. Extend the contract for 2 years. The salary is $40 million US. I wish us a happy cooperation in advance. Episode 37. Yes, Mr. Foreman, I'm waiting for your words. Qin Yang showed a satisfied smile. The final result did not disappoint him, and the Bulls were willing to sign with him for 2 years and $40 million. The following time, the signing process was very smooth. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Richie Paul refound Qin Yang. The negotiation process is that he is responsible for Qin Yang, and he is quite quick to do things. After a few hours, everything was done. Omega. Qin, everything went well. You and the Bulls signed a 2-year contract extension. Now you sign it. I'll go back and send it to that old guy from Foreman. Tomorrow, after all the legal procedures, the contract will officially take effect, after which the Bulls will pay you a salary, and you can count the money at home. Rich Paul smiled. Qin Yang's big contract. He will take 4% of the remuneration from it. 40 million, 4% drawn, is 16 million US dollars. Rich Paul made money too easily, casually moved his lips, and this vote achieved 16 million. The brokerage team has grown bigger, and it is indeed very profitable in the league. Okay, go through the legal process tomorrow. You continue to help me be responsible, and I will pay you afterwards. Haha, you're welcome, Qin. Rich Paul wanted to pat Qin Yang's shoulder, but found that Qin Yang was too tall, so he simply patted Qin Yang's back. At this time, Qin Yang sweated like rain in the training hall. There was nothing to practice low footsteps. Tomorrow the Bulls will sit at home to face the Orlando Magic. Rich Paul took the contract that Qin Yang signed, and was embarrassed to continue to bother, waved his hand, and said goodbye to Qin Yang. Not long after he left, another person came to the training hall. Derrick Rose. Ross already knew about the Bull management's renewal of Qin Yang's contract. Not long ago, Foreman called him to ask for his opinion. Ross wanted Qin Yang to stay in Chicago, so he agreed to some kind of request without hesitation. Originally, the Bull management was ready to sign a 5-year contract directly with Ross, but due to Qin Yang's joining, it was changed to a 2-year contract, the same period as Qin Yang. Ross didn't complain about that. 2 years is 2 years, and he is more eager for a championship than any big contract. And there is a saying, it's not a good thing for a player to sign a team for too long. Signed for 2 years, when the contract expires, you will have an active choice. Whether to stay loyal to Chicago or jump ship to another team is up to you. After signing a contract for 5 years, when the team changes, it will be difficult to change jobs. Of course, it's just a rational metaphor. Ross is loyal, and the fans who love him know it. He prefers one person and one city. Thinking about the afterlife, after Ross learned that the Bulls put him on the shelf, this big boy, who has always been strong, was saddened in front of the camera and shed tears of sadness. Qin Yang looked at Ross, who walked into the training gym with a basketball, and handed him a smile. The shy Ross also smiled, and then spoke. Qin, you've officially renewed your contract with the Bulls, right? Yes, you got it? Qin Yang nodded slightly. Ross followed and nodded. Foreman called me and asked me to discuss this matter. Oh? Qin Yang was stunned. He signed a contract with the Bulls. What happened to Ross? I signed with the team, and Foreman asked you to discuss things, and what to do. Qin Yang asked the doubts in his heart. Foreman said that he was going to sign a 5-year contract with me, but with your arrival, the asking price is still relatively high, and the team is worried about exceeding the salary cap, so it reduced my contract from 5 years to 2 years. Ross is a sincere person, has a straight word, and will not hide. Qin Yang was stunned all of a sudden. He didn't expect that because his asking price was a little high, causing Ross's contract to suffer. If he had known this, Qin Yang would definitely not have harmed the interests of others. Sorry, Derrick, I didn't know at first that because of my contract, your interests were damaged. It was my fault. Qin. What 2 years and 5 years? I don't care about that. What I care about is whether we can win the championship this season together. Ross waved his hand to interrupt Qin Yang. You know, in the long history of the NBA, there is only one person who can win the championship in the rookie season, and that person is the great magician John Sun. And now, I think our chances have come. We are both rookie players, and if we win the championship together this season, we will be on an equal footing with Magic John in history. Qin, my brother, will you join me in this great mission? This is the moment. Ross's gaze is steadfast, he has an ambition, and his rookie season pays tribute to Magic John's signal. Witness the miracle with Qin Yang. In their rookie season, two rookies teamed up to win the overall championship of the 08-09 season. When Qin Yang heard this, he stared at Ross quietly for a few seconds, and then suddenly smiled. Haha, willing, of course I am willing to witness miracles with you. Come on Derrick, let's fight for miracles, play Orlando Magic tomorrow, and let's hold on to our regular season win streak first. Okay. Ross patted Qin Yang's shoulder and chuckled. It's not a secret, I like your fighting spirit. Playing with you, I feel that I can create miracles. Episode 38. Following, Chicago Union Center Arena, welcoming its third opponent of the new season. They are the Orlando Magic, who dominate the Eastern Conference. It is estimated that in the impression of many fans, the Magic are not a powerhouse. At best, it ranks at the middle level of the league. There have been many bright stars in the team, and there is no denying that. In 1992, they chose a blue star monster, the champion Shark. During that period, Orlando Magic was also once beautiful. Led by O'Neal the Sharks and Pence Hardaway, he defeated Jordan, who had returned from baseball, to advance to the finals. It's just a pity that on the final stage, Xiaoyer was still too tender and was rubbed madly on the floor by Olajuwon. 4 o'clock, Team Rocket, led by Big Dream, easily swept the Magic out. Later, it was reported in the team that O'Neal and Pence Hardaway were at odds and were half-hearted when playing. Either go sing, participate in entertainment programs, or make movies and run tricks or something. The Sharks are such a person who doesn't put all his mind into basketball. In his own words, I am not serious, and I still blow up the inside line of the whole league. And in those days, he did. Because at that time, the four major centers gradually aged, and only O'Neal was left on the inside. Then, O'Neal's story was widely known by more fans. He left Orlando for Los Angeles on the West Coast. With that Peter Pan wearing the number 8 jersey, formed the OK combination to dominate the league and win the Purple Gold Dynasty's 3-in-a-row championship. After O'Neal left Orlando, another shining star landed on the Magic. His name is more familiar to Dragon Kingdom fans. Number 1 Matty. The white horse spear in the minds of countless Dragon Kingdom teenagers. His soul is gone, his spirit snake breaks through. His self-defeating stunt and his shocking 3,513 seconds in world basketball. Matty spent some time in Orlando and also left. I have to say that the city of Orlando can't keep superstars. After Matty left, it was Howard's turn. In 2004, Howard joined the Orlando Magic as a top pick. And because of the Magic team, everyone gave him a domineering nickname, Warcraft. Warcraft Howard, just like that, has been passed down by countless fans for generations. The 08-09 season was the pinnacle of the Magic. As a traverser, Qin Yang can know things that others do not know. This season, the Magic reached the finals against the Lakers led by Kobe Bryant and Gasol. But it is also a pity that in the end, they lost to the Lakers 4-1 and lost to the final stage. Today, the Magic are playing tactics, equivalent to the stars of the post-era. Warcraft Howard single-handedly dominated the basket, led 4 shooters, and bombarded the league. This year is also the peak of Howard. Whether it's rebounding stats, block stats, including scoring, Howard can make a huge contribution to the team. Some people have complained that Howard's low post technique is rough, and he is exactly the same as James in the early days, only playing with his body. But it is undeniable that Warcraft has also brought the Magic team to the finals with its super physical fitness this season. Young and irritable to play with your body, it's okay. As long as you can win, everyone will have fun. In the Eastern Conference, the inside line can be said to be Howard's world. As long as you don't run into Yao Ming, Howard is not afraid of anyone. Of course, this season's O'Neal has actually slowly aged. In terms of physical confrontation, he can't fight the young and strong Howard. Tonight's Bulls vs Magic game will be a big attraction. Fans are very good at things, and have posted on the Twitter forum early on, talking about what kind of spark will be aroused by the meeting between China Qin and Howard. There were many fans who thought that Qin Yang would win. The reason is that people who understand the ball can understand at a glance that Qin Yang is stronger than Howard in terms of low-post offensive technique. The 660 SIXS footsteps, turnaround jumpers after fake hooks, and violent spacing are all better than Howard. There are also many fans who believe that no matter how powerful Qin Yang is, he is a rookie after all. In terms of game experience, it is inferior to Howard. There are many supporters on both sides, and they are almost evenly divided. It's a mule or a horse, just pull it out and slip around. The big war is about to break out. At 9 o'clock in the evening, the game officially started. Players from both sides enter the United Center Arena through the tunnel. Tonight the Bulls are wearing a white jersey and the Magic are wearing a blue jersey. Number 9 Qin Yang, the first to enter the venue, followed by Ross, Roar Dang, Noah, and Ben Gordon. The starting lineup on the Magic side is number 1, Jamil Nelson, height 183 centimeters, weight 86 kilograms. He was selected by the Magic with the 20th pick in the first round in 2004 and was the same player as Howard. Number 2, Michael Pietras, height 198 centimeters, weight 98 kilograms. He was selected by the Warriors with the 11th pick in the first round in 2003 and was traded to the Orlando Magic this year. Born in romantic country, he is a foreign player. Number 3, Sito Tekagru. Height 208 centimeters, weight 100 kilograms. He was selected by the Kings with the 16th pick in the first round in 2000. Like Pitras, Tekaglu is a foreign player from the Crescent Country. Number 4, Rashad Lewis. Height 208 centimeters, weight 104 kilograms. In 1998, the third pick in the second round was selected by the Seattle Supersonics, now Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 5, Dwight Howard. Height 211 centimeters, weight 120 kilograms. 2004 Top Show, a year after LeBron James. These players are the Magic's starting lineup. Except for Howard, the other four have a good solid shot. The early stars of the league were what the Magic began to try. In tonight's matchup, whether the Bulls can defeat the Orlando Magic to achieve a 3-game winning streak in the new season depends on the performance of Qin Yang and Ross. After all, the two most stable output points of the Bulls are Qin Yang and Ross. Before the game, Qin Yang's expression relaxed. Before Yao Ming ate, slept, and fought Warcraft. After that, there is him. Qin Yang turned over the river and overturned the sea and fought the heroes. Episode 39. Time passes minute by minute. After the DJ Master shouted out the list of starters one by one, the referee signaled the middle circle to scrum. The United Center Arena was packed. With the addition of Qin Yang and champion Xiao Rose, the Bulls' ticket sales rate has increased much compared to previous years. Some fans began to wear the number 9 and number 1 shirts. In this way, they silently supported Qin Yang and Ross. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls, the third regular season game of the 08-09 season, is about to start. The Chicago Bulls' opponent tonight is the Magic from Orlando. They have a star in the team, especially the big guy Dwight, who is hailed as a monster by the fans. The biggest attraction of this game is to China Qin against Warcraft. Look at the two centers in the active league, who can have the last laugh in the end. A Smith teamed up with Winterl to explain the basketball feast to the fans. Okay friends, Chicago Bulls and Orlando Magic, start the battle for the first ball in the middle circle. Now it is China Qin and Warcraft who are fighting for the ball. The physical quality of Warcraft is not inferior to China Qin, and Warcraft takes the lead in jumping. Omega. Did this guy steal a spring at home? He actually snatched this ball above China Qin's head. Howard strikes preemptively. As soon as the referee threw the basketball into the air, he jumped at great speed. With lightning speed, he snatched this ball above Qin Yang's head. Warcraft in 2008 is at the peak of his career. It is true that it is complained that the low-level attack is rough, but it cannot be underestimated because of this. In terms of physical fitness, it is estimated that no interior lineman in the league can compete with Howard. Qin Yang was a little careless, and the Warcraft jumped quickly. No wonder he can get more than a dozen rebounds in a game, averaging close to 30 blocks per game. This cap data and rebound data are quite terrifying. Magic team possession. Jamiel Nelson dribbled forward. Howard landed quickly, and when he got to the basket, he opened his arms and firmly stuck Qin Yang inside, and he wanted to catch the ball and singled Qin Yang, showing complete aggression at the beginning. Currently in Qin Yang, which is popular in the whole league, Howard has naturally heard about it. He wants to tell the world in this game that he is the number 1 center in the league. Jamiel Nelson saw that Howard was ready to eat Qin Yang alone in the low position. People are the boss of the team. Nelson did not dare to disobey, and immediately hoisted the ball into the inside. Nelson hoisted the ball into the inside, and the position of the Warcraft was ready to eat China Qin in the low position. The young man is a little too hasty, although this is the third game of China Qin, but through the first 2 games, it is not difficult to find that China Qin is a strong defensive titan. He is the Forbidden Zone tower of the Bulls, and the Warcraft is eager to eat China Qin alone, and it will be extremely opposite. The two commentators were clear. Howard tried to burst Qin Yang in the first round and establish himself as the number 1 center in the league. China Qin, give him some color, he wants to eat you alone. Chicago fans naturally support Qin Yang. Howard's aggressiveness made Chicago fans uncomfortable. How? Look, China Qin is a rookie? Just bully rookie players? Qin Yang stretched out his arms against Howard, and the fans and commentators all saw that the monster couldn't wait to eat him alone. How could he, as a party, not know? With a slight smile, Qin Yang was not nervous. Just Howard's rough low-post defensive skills. Still want to eat him alone? What about dreams? Warcraft back single. This action looks a little deformed, or do you continue to go home and practice again? This kind of back-to-back beating will not pose any threat to China Qin. It's funny to say, in 2008, Howard, the low back play was quite poor. He hit Qin Yang on his back, and his movements were a little deformed, not smooth at all. On the other hand, Qin Yang's low back hit in the first 2 games was completed by Howard in minutes. Brother, are you still beating me up like this? Who gave you the courage? Liang Jingru shouldn't have gone to Orlando for a concert, right? Qin Yang was speechless. Howard's level of backplay. Still want to eat him alone in the low post? Did Yuki make a mistake? Teach you how to be a man in minutes. Without technique, just honestly use your strong body to play ball, not specifically those bells and whistles. You give me down. Layup? Did I agree? Howard singled Qin Yang with a rusty back, turned around and tried to make a layup. How could Qin Yang let him get his wish? The Mad Demon caps were sacrificed, and they flew out with a slap. Oh. Haha, China Qin Wei Wu. In the first round of the battle, the monster was taught to be a man, and his layup was slapped out by China Qin. Winter, the narrator, roared excitedly. After Qin Yang covered his hat, he still shook his finger at Howard. The action was quite secretive, and the referee did not see it, otherwise he would have given Qin Yang a technical offense. Howard felt red-faced, and for a while he was so embarrassed that he could cut out 3 rooms and 1 hall with his feet. And what Qin Yang said to him? What Liang Jingru went to Orlando for a concert? He didn't know who Liang Jingru was. Trash talk? Howard could only think so. This guy with long purple hair was spewing trash talk at him. Episode 40. Warcraft is not convinced. Can the #1 center in the East still be bullied by a rookie? Although the young Warcraft yearned for happy basketball, but it doesn't mean that Warcraft likes to be abused, and the person who abused him is still a rookie from the Dragon Kingdom. The ball still belongs to the Magic. Qin Feng slapped down and slapped the basketball out of bounds. Lewis serves from the touchline to shooting guard Michael Pietras. Pietras is average in attacking with the ball, and he is better at shooting from the spot. That is, a teammate needs to contain him. He runs out of the empty position, and then puts cold arrows in the shadows. Overall, though, Pietras is a qualified fraction. In the league, some people once hailed him as the Jordan of the romantic country. After receiving the ball, Pietras broke through and passed half of Ben Gordon's position, then stopped the jumper. Bang! The sound of striking iron sounded, and Pietras threw the iron first. Under the basket box, Qin Yang and Howard waited to compete for the rebound. At this time, Howard pondered in his heart. The first wave of attacks was covered by Qin Yang. This round, the two fought for rebounds, saying that they would find the game in everything. After the inner line was firmly in place, he decided that Qin Yang could not rob him. Last season, Howard averaged 13.56 rebounds per game. This data crushes all the inside lines in the East. Including Yao's average rebounds, it is not as good as Howard. There is also a reason that in this era, the situation in the Alliance is strong in the West and weak in the East. Playing in the East is much more comfortable than staying in the West. The situation on the field is very delicate. Inside the basket, because Pietras stopped the iron suddenly, we found that both China Qin and Warcraft were firmly stuck in position, trying to grab this rebound. Who the hell is this rebound? Ugh. The voice of the narrator A. Smith fell. Qin Yang jumped with thunder and had the skill of heavenly god rebounding. He can predict the placement of rebounds. Just this bug. What does Howard fight him with? China Qin grabbed the backcourt rebound, and he took it off above the head of the Warcraft. The first round of the contest was won by China Qin for a short time. China Qin first gave the Warcraft a big hot pot cap, and then took off this rebound on top of the Warcraft's head. Qin Yang, who grabbed the backcourt rebound, passed to Ross. Rose dribbled the ball unhurriedly, came to the top of the arc, and Nelson, who was defending him, wrapped his body closely. In the face of Nelson's defense, Ross was undaunted. His official height is 191 centimeters, and Nelson is only 183 centimeters, which is as tall as Iverson. In terms of speed, Nelson is far inferior to Ross. Ross first dribbled the ball in a cross-step, then found the right moment, accelerated sharply, and easily passed Nelson. A few big strides to the basket in an instant. Tearing the Magic's inside box is much easier than tearing the Celtics box. The Celtics team has always focused on defense. If it weren't for that, the fans wouldn't be calling the iron-blooded Green Army. It is precisely because of the iron barrel defense that the Celtics have earned the title of the Iron Green Army. Ross smoothly rushed into the Magic paint area, and in front of Lewis assisted defense. He put his hands in front of his abdomen and poked them there, trying to cause Ross to foul offense. However, Ross doesn't care about this, holding the ball and jumping high. In terms of visual effects, Ross is like Lewis. Above Lewis's head, complete the ultimate buckle. Bang! The same muffled sound of clang. The Bull side is a dunk goal, while the Magic side is shooting iron. Howard has been keeping an eye on Qin Yang on the weak side, and there is no position to come over to assist in the defense. He also saw Lewis standing in the paint area, so he didn't care. Then Lewis was sad, and was overwhelmed by Ross's super explosive power, and came to a flat frame and a violent buckle. Oh. Haha. Derrick leaps over Lewis to complete the ultimate dunk. Lewis wanted to cause Derrick an offensive foul, but the referee didn't blow this goal. Ross dunked and landed lightly from the basket. That paralyzed face had no expression, but the steps he walked were a little unrecognized. The fans shouted and cheered. Buy a ticket to watch the game, just for this bite. Dunking is always more passionate than shooting, and it is more adrenaline pumping for fans. Ross's leap over Lewis's buckle is the best way to give back to the fans. Derrick, MVP. Derrick, you guy is so powerful, you are simply out of gravity. Newton saw you. Did not know how to explain it to the scientific community. Some fans are very eloquent. Even Newton's gravity came out. 2 o'clock. The Bulls temporarily led the Magic by 2 points, thanks to Rose's two-handed dunk. Qin Yang looked at Ross, who walked with the wind, and knew that this game was stable. Although the Magic are also strong teams this season, they are inferior to the Celtics on the defensive level. 1 Ross, enough for them to drink a pot. This unsolvable breakthrough caused the Magic team a headache. Fortunately, for shooters on the outside line responded immediately. Nelson passed the ball to Lewis, who faced Noah's one-way defense and jumped straight up to score 2 points for the Magic. The score was 2-2, and the next round, the Magic began to notice Rose's breakthrough. Howard personally pressed up to join forces. Knowing that Howard's cap data is terrifying, Ross is leisurely and does not dare to completely ignore Howard. Howard, at his peak, traverses speed in the paint area and is even more terrifying than Garnett. Derrick pressed in with the ball, and the Warcraft personally raised it to assist in defense. Derrick didn't have a good shooting space, and the pass went to China Qin on the low weak side. China Qin takes the ball to attack, and the monster clings closely. Just now China Qin gave Warcraft a hot pot cap. This time is a great opportunity for Warcraft to take revenge. See how Warcraft can prevent China Qin's attack. Winter, the commentator, held, causing the fans to stare directly at Qin Yang and Howard in the restricted area under the basket. In this round of matchup, can Qin Yang eat Howard alone through superb low post offensive skills?